the whole Vegas incident, Tupac going to Vegas and everything that took place. Just give me the whole backstory. From the beginning, like y'all talking about Suge Knight and them talking about going to the Mike Tyson fight. Then
And I wasn't, and my 2 tickets were not there
yeah,
for
yeah,
me to go.
just give me the whole story,
Yeah,
like before. Yeah.
they heard it. I mean, we went down there, and Nate Dogg's fiance Natasha went down there with me, and how Nate ended up down there because he found out that her and I were in Vegas with, and we were going to go hang out at the fight with Tupac and Suge, and Nate was like, "Hell nah, you are not hanging out with them." I mean, men knew. I guess men always have intuition. They don't want their women around other men. So Nate hopped on the next. He hopped on the road with his bodyguard and headed down to Vegas to smash our plans. Me and Natasha's plans, because we were gonna go hang out. Suge was gonna give me 2 tickets to the fight, like normal, because he always would give me 2 tickets to the fight. I always would go bring my whole girl crew down there to have a good time. And at the last minute, he's like, I don't have any tickets for you. And I was like, what? Like, that's the highlight of my weekend, to go to the fight. And I have no tickets? Nope. So he's like, but, after the fight, we're going to meet you in front of Ballet Park. Come down to Ballet Park and, so we could all roll together to Club 662. So, of course, we had to find something to do while the fight went on. And then we got word back there was some kind of scuffle that took place, and didn't think nothing of it until I seen Pac in Ballet, and he was still in the shirt, chain was broke. You know, he was trying to fiddle with that chain, fixing it, because it got, I guess, got broken in the scuffle. He went upstairs, came down. And y'all all heard me talk about, where is your damn bulletproof vest? Because can't have a bulletproof vest on with a jersey on. And, this conversation is going on the side of my Suburban, on the roll bars. He's standing up and down. Of course, we're laughing because Kenya has another car. Kenya has a Benz at home, and now she has this Suburban is dropped with rims and sounds on it. He's like, what the fuck? How are you getting these cars, dude? What's going on? I'm like, player too. I got it like that too. So him and I are just talking. I'm talking about the bulletproof vest. He's like, I'm good. We don't have to wear them tonight. We safe. We're going to 662. And I'm like, no, that's not the rule. And he said, we are safe. We're going to our own house. We're not going to the fight. We're going to our own house, Club 662. That's our house. Nobody can get in. And, it was a safe zone for death row people. Suge owned that. And, I wish that he would have had that on that night. That would have been beautiful, because it would have saved him at that point. But, in his mind, people are saying he didn't have to wear it because we're going to our own home. But look what happened between getting to our home. He gets shot.
So yeah, it's a few things I want to get into in regards to the whole Vegas incident.
Right.
So I want to backtrack a little. Orlando Anderson. Did you know about the fight between Tupac and Orlando once it happened? Did you hear about it?
After, valet parking, that's kind of when you heard the murmur. First the chain is broken, and then you hear, you knew something went on, but it wasn't, it was chatter, it was groups. Everybody's down there, a bunch of everybody, the whole death row, everybody that was there amongst that fight, they were all in ballet. So you hear a little chatter, but, we're still thinking of getting to Club 662. That's another day in death row. I mean, a fight? It was another day. I mean, you don't really think anything of it other than, my eyes are on the fumbling of the chain, because he wanted to get that chain fixed. He finally fixed it. So it wasn't a big deal at that point.
So you seen Tupac, messing with the chain.
Yeah.
That's the same chain that broke when he fought Orlando. So
Absolutely.
did Tupac say anything to you about that chain?
He was fumbling with it at this point. This is just fumbling, because, I guess the adrenaline, I didn't know at the point that, exactly what had happened, and the adrenaline that was going on, but he was fumbling with the chain, and then they had to go upstairs and change clothes. So we're all still down here waiting for them. They had to go change out of from what they wore at the MGM to Club 662 Ware. So we were waiting. Parking lot, the valet parking is getting a little busier, more women. And I'm like, oh my God, come on, you guys. You know, because who are these women going? We here. Like, my crew is here. Where are they coming from? Like, women are just coming in. Finally comes down, and then you see the jersey. And Kadada wasn't there. She stayed behind. And they were taking, I think the women were a distraction because we were all supposed to caravan all together, you know, but more women were flocking to that valet area. So that's when Nate was telling us, he's like, come on, you know, let's go, you know, let's go. They'll get there. They grown men, let them do their thing. And that's when we took off. Nate, bodyguard, Tasha, me. We got to Club 662 and, you know, they're in. And I get in there, you know, and I'm kind of waiting somewhere because I'm waiting where, you know, the party ain't gonna start until Pac and Suge get here. So I think Craig Mack was on performing because I remember coming through that door and Craig Mack, his new flavor in your ear. And I hear him performing right when we walked in Club 662. And then the next thing I notice is like security is running out. And this is security when I say this is all Suge's personal security. I'm like, they're running out at a fast pace. And nobody really noticed this but me. I'm like, something ain't right. And I'm like, why are they running? So something told me to follow them because something wasn't right. I'm like, why are they going? I'm nosy anyway. So I get back in my truck. And I'm going to Ware because they're all taking off in their car. So here I am. I'm like, okay, I'm going too because I had something wasn't right in my heart. So I start following, kind of telling whoever the last car was. And as you're getting closer, you hear sirens. And I'm like, and as you get closer, you hear more sirens and you get closer. So the sound started leading me at this point. I just start hearing sirens, and then when I hit that one street, that's when you see the car was tilted over, and they'd already taken them. The ambulance had already taken them to the hospital. They're already out, but it's the yellow tape now, and all the cars are on the yellow tape. The car that Pac and Sugar in was not. That's flipped over on the side, but yellow tape was all the people, the caravan that was following, and I don't know why I took my Suburban and went straight through the yellow tape and almost hit a cop. I mean, I just seen red at that point because something happened. I'm in my car still, and I just know it's tilted over now. It's been in an accident. Something has happened, and there's yellow tape. So I crashed through the yellow tape, and now the cop has to put the yellow tape up. He's yelling at me. I don't hear this. I just see Gaddafi crying. I see Napoleon, I see all the outlaws and everybody's crying. I'm like, the fuck this happened? Like, what did I miss? And I'm in the yellow tape now. My car is now a part of this. And it was the strangest thing because they were saying that they just shot Suge and Pac. And I'm just like, are they alive? You know, I'm going crazy. And I have a cell phone. So I made 2 calls on that cell phone. I said, oh shit, I got 2 people to call. And I think it was Sharitha was the first one I called. And she started, you know, going kind of crazy because her daughter Arian had rolled up there with them to Vegas. So at this point, she's like, is Arian in the car? Is Arian in the car? And I'm like, no, Arian's at Michelle's house. She's okay. Her godmom. Okay. What's going on? Okay, I'm on my way out. I'm on my way down there. So she's hopped out the phone to catch a flight to get there. Next call is to my mom. And when I called my mom, I didn't know that Daz was at my mom's house. He would often stay the night over there because my daughter had a room there, and he'd go over there and spend the night. So my mom, I'm like, my mom, Pac and Sugar. She says, what? Daz? So she yells to Daz because he's in my daughter's room. And she says, Daz, come down here. Tupac and Sugar shot. And all you hear in the background is Daz going, no! He's screaming. And my mom's like, Daz! And he's screaming, and I think he's out the door. And my mom I can't hear at this point. I just made those 2 calls. And then at some point, Nate gets to us. I mean, I don't know, because we all ended up meeting up and because our clothes were all at the Lexar Hotel. I had my room. Nate and Tasha had their room, and Nate had 2 guns, because at this point, back up, we're in the yellow tape. I'm in the yellow tape, and people were going past us saying, fuck y'all. That's what you death row motherfuckers get. Fuck y'all. I don't think it was not one car that was like threatening us, like saying evil things. I'm thinking they're going to be like, oh my God, are you guys okay? Oh my God. Nah. They were like, fuck y'all niggas. That's what y'all motherfuckers get. Every car that was going past that yellow tape had something ill to say. So we automatically took it as a threat that now death row's being, it's assassination night. Something's going on, because they got them. And then all these people are saying evil things. So now we got to get the hell up out of here. So Nate was like, let's go. He took them 2 45s. He said, go to your room, pack what you can pack, and let's get the fuck out of here. And we must have left stuff in the room, but we packed up everything we could, grabbed it, headed back down to our cars, because we needed to get the fuck out of Vegas. Nate had taken charge at that point. We were listening to him. Whatever he said at that moment went. We got in the car. Me and Tasha were in my Suburban. Him and his security guard were in, they had a little van. And he said, we're out. And I'm trying to figure out how the fuck we gonna make it, because we're tired, we're drunk, and we're full of adrenaline. So how are we gonna make it? So it was the craziest drive, because we needed to get out of state line. So me and Tasha were so tired, and we had been drinking. So every 10 minutes, we're pulling over at the side of the road and switching drivers. I drive for 10 minutes, and I'm nodding off. Tasha drive, nodding off. And we did this all the way until we got to the part of, I get the state line where they have the temperature gauge coming out. And we parked on the side, wherever the hotel temperature gauge, and parked the cars like on the side of the road and went to sleep. And, we were out of Vegas at that moment. We felt like we were safe. And I went to sleep just enough time for daybreak to come. And I pulled off. Tasha was in the car with them. I was in my truck sleeping by myself. They were in the van, because it was a rather big van. I just pulled off and took the rest of the ride home by myself. And, got home. That was Sunday. Flew back out to Vegas that Monday. And I flew out there with Snoop's mom and Snoop's auntie Gail. Flew out there. Kadada got a limo, picked us up from the airport, and we went to the hospital.
Right. To backtrack a little, so did you see Tupac with a bulletproof vest, or you just told him, while you
the jersey? No, he didn't have it on. He had it on before,
So you've seen it with your own eyes.
I seen
Tupac
it.
With a bulletproof
I
vest.
seen it when he had that thing on going to MGM. He didn't have it on with the jersey. The conversation came up because he came downstairs. Remember? With the jersey on, and the jersey's thin, and there's nothing on under there. And I told him, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Put on your bulletproof vest, because you can see all that there. He's in my space. He's leaning on my truck. I could see everything. The chain is good. There's nothing on under that jersey.
What outfit did he have on with the bulletproof vest?
The who?
With the bulletproof vest.
Remember that silky little shirt, and people were battling me. No, he didn't have it on. I seen a vest. I mean, with the fumbling. Remember, I'm just there, and I'm noticing the fumbling of the chain, and I seen he wouldn't have went to the MGM hotel without that on, because you're in the midst of the world at that point. And people, I was reading your comments, you didn't have nothing on. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what he had on. I seen that at that point where there's no cameras around. I think people were taking pictures, but at that point when we were there, at that moment, I seen something on. I mean, it was a silky shirt, but it was something on under there. He wouldn't have went to MGM without that on.
So he had it on for like a split second.
I seen it, and I was with him at that moment before he went up there and changed. So you think he's fumbling with the chain, and that could have been a 5-minute period of in valet parking. I stayed down there, but he fumbled, and then he went up there to change clothes. So that's my point of view, what I saw. And I wasn't drunk at that point either, you guys. So I seen that. And I know, I'm like, why would he not go have this on? Why? Why would he not?
So, Tupac, he got shot in Vegas or whatever, the hospital scene. Just take me through that. How was it at the hospital, and what was your reaction, and what was the reaction of everybody else when it was announced that Tupac passed away? Because the doctors did say he was probably going to survive. Then out of nowhere, he just
Well,
passed
that
away.
Monday when I was there, that Monday, because remember he died Friday, so that Monday, it was he got there Sunday, early Sunday morning. So this is the first official day that he's at the hospital. So I walk in. I got this big old basket because my mother made Athenia a basket. Beverly brought us, Snoop's mom and Gail. We walk in there with Kadada. Kadada's still in her overalls. I remember the same overalls. She had the same clothes on. And Athenia was super, super calm. She was super calm. The boys, the outlaws weren't doing that well. Security was on 100. They had taken over. They were Las Vegas Metro at this point because they had taken over. People were doing outside. There were people that were, wanted to get in, and you were not getting in that hospital unless you were affiliated with Death Row or a family member, because we didn't know who to trust at that moment. They didn't know who was who. They don't know who did this to him. So it was nobody. I'm thinking people who were trying to get in the hospital to see their loved ones, they couldn't even get in. Death Row security weren't letting them in. So it was it was a very sad scene. But when you got closer to Athene, she made you feel like everything was going to be okay. And that Monday, the feeling I got was that he was going to be okay. And they weren't letting nobody in these rooms. And I was persistent. I was like, okay, they're not letting nobody in. I wanted to see something for my eye. I just kept on, because we were right there by the intensive care unit. And I just kept on, just playing it off. And because I wanted to see, and I think the door or something opened and I got to see a glimpse. And what I seen, I'm just like, doing well. Like, he was not alert. Like, you hear these stories that he was up and alert and talking. Oh, he had tubes and it was cut. It was not a good scene. And I'm like, where are these stories coming from? We were talking, and, maybe when he initially got shot, him and Suge were having this thing, but now on Monday, he doesn't look good. I got a glimpse of it. I was just, the door opened and I got to look, and I'm like, in my own brain, I'm like, he don't look that good. He don't look good. The tubes, the cutting, but I think he was calm, so it made you feel calm. And everybody else was, it was horrible. But being around Athene at that moment, it made you feel like, okay, there's a chance. So we flew in that day and flew back out. That was, we flew in to see him, and then Beverly, me and Gail, we flew back out. Maybe that night we stayed there. Had the visual, stayed as long as we could at the hospital. I didn't see any stars that day, that Monday. I didn't see anybody other than Death Row people. The Danny Boys, the Outlaws, all that. No fancy, smanchy little Hollywood people. Didn't see them. They could have came Tuesday. They could have came another day, but not Monday. I didn't see them. And Friday came, and I was gonna go back out there. And you remember the girl group Moke and stuff, and they were gonna ride out there with me, Kenya, Monica, and Stephanie. They had the hottest song out at that moment, "He's Mine," and Suge really liked them. He was thinking of signing them, so they were close to Death Row, and they were gonna ride back out there with me. And I think I was on my way back home on the 110 freeway, because Dad's and I lived off the 101. I'm on the 110 freeway, and they announced that he died. And like I said, I almost flipped that damn car over. I was in my Benz at that moment. I wasn't in Suburban. I was in the Benz, and I had to gain control of my car because they just said that he died. And all week they've been saying, and I've been hearing correspondence that he's doing better, and then suddenly he's gone.
Right, right. So from what you've seen, the condition Tupac was in, it was no way he could have talked.
That's no way. No way.
All
How do you
right.
take the breathing machine out? The breathing tube, that's that lifeline. How do you take that out? He needs to, he shot 7 times, you know? The lung is gone. I mean, how? How? I mean, maybe they really wanted that to happen, but from what I seen on Monday, that was not the case. It wasn't.